Today we're going to look at, does size matter? Hold on, that came out wrong. I'm not making that video. Does size matter when it comes to self-defense? Stick around to find out more. Many martial arts instructors will tell you that size doesn't matter when it comes to self-defense. If you learn how to take advantage of your assailant's momentum, you can use their size and weight against them. So when they come at you, you can redirect their energy and gain the advantage. That's great news for anyone that's going to be attacked in the future, since most assailants are likely to be bigger and stronger than their victims. Attackers are not looking for a difficult challenge in someone that is bigger and stronger than them. They want someone that they're pretty sure they're going to win against. In theory, this is all true. A smaller person can use leverage and technique to defeat a larger person. The problem is that in order to do this, you need to be much better than your opponent is. How do you get better at this, or at anything for that matter? By practicing. The more times you do it, the better you will get at it. I can guarantee you that this was the result of years of practice. Anyone that tells you that you will be able to defend yourself after taking a weekend self-defense course is at best delusional and uneducated in the matter. This, unfortunately, is more common than it should be. Here's what happens. They don't necessarily have to be young, but quite often it's these students that want to strike out on their own and start their own martial arts school. Anyways, this student gets his black belt from a school where receiving your black belt doesn't mean that you're an expert, but that you have mastered the basics of the style. He or she believes that they are an expert because they have earned a black belt, and we have been led to believe that black belts are self-defense experts. Check out my video here for a more detailed explanation of this. They honestly believe that they are self-defense experts and can pass along this information to you because this is the depth of their training and understanding on the topic. They have never themselves practiced this against a fully resisting opponent when their adrenaline is pumping and they're scared to death. But in theory, they can tell you how to escape a situation. At worst, that instructor is flat out lying to you. Why would somebody lie to you about self-defense? The simple answer is that they're trying to sell you on their program, be it karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, or any other martial art. They're promoting their product by giving you a free self-defense seminar in order to entice you to sign up for and or tell your friends about the regular program. You walk away talking about the great self-defense seminar you just went to and how amazing the instructor was. They get advertising for their school. This is not a bad thing in and of itself. You're getting some self-defense instruction after all. If the instructor also teaches you about situational awareness and trusting your gut instincts when you feel that a situation is not quite right. After all, the best self-defense is to be aware of your surroundings and avoiding confrontations whenever possible. Almost always, if your gut instinct is telling you that something is wrong, your best bet is to exit that scenario that you're in. That is your surest way of staying safe. If you're walking away from a self-defense seminar feeling fully confident in your newfound abilities, I can guarantee you that you were not practicing them with any kind of realistic resistance against a larger and stronger opponent. How can we tell that size matters when it comes to self-defense or fighting? The easiest way to provide proof of this is to look at any full-contact combat sport. Boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Sambo, kickboxing, and MMA all have developed weight classes for their sports. The experts, the people governing these sports, who have gained their positions by being involved in the sports for many years, have recognized that being larger gives someone a significant advantage when it comes to competing in these sports. The competitors recognize this as well, as they will often cut weight to get to a lower weight class so they don't have to fight a larger opponent. Being smaller than your opponent generally means that you'll be weaker than your opponent. Your reach will be shorter than your opponent's. Every time you hit your opponent, they will feel it less. Every time your opponent hits you, you will feel it more. When your opponent is on top of you, you will feel their weight more than they will when you are on top of them. It will take you more effort to move your opponent than it will for your opponent to move you. Every single mistake you make will cost you more than it does your opponent. The bottom line is, you will need to be more skilled than your larger opponent in order to compete with them. With that said, if you are a smaller person and you want to learn how to physically defend yourself, these are the things that you will have to learn to overcome. Nobody does this naturally. Nobody without training will learn how to deal with someone smashing them, crushing them, making them feel uncomfortable, and then be able to turn around and begin to alleviate that pressure, escape, and/or submit their opponent. If this is your goal, then your best bet is to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is designed for this exact purpose, to alleviate pressure, escape, control, and submit your opponent. The good news is, smaller people generally learn BJJ or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu quicker than larger people. While a bigger, stronger person will often, early in the stages of training, resort to their strength and power to try escaping a position or a submission, the smaller and weaker person doesn't have that option. They realize very early on that the only way they will be able to escape is by doing the technique properly. The bad news is, it's still going to take a long time, and you're going to spend a lot of that time miserable and uncomfortable. If you're a smaller person, when you start training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you will be smaller than everyone else, you'll be weaker than everyone else, and you will not be as good as everyone else. When training with the color belts, they will dominate you simply by using technique. If you're at a good school, those color belts will help you learn and show you the things that will make you better. When you train with other white belts, they'll be new to things as well and looking to practice the attacks they've learned on someone newer and smaller, as they're not able to do this on the higher belt ranks. They're the ones usually defending in that case. Now they see an opportunity to finally apply some of the submissions that they've learned and will press hard to get them on you. You will spend the majority of your time on the bottom getting squished by someone larger and better than you, trying to submit you. If you stick with it, you're going to start escaping those positions. Now you've passed through the first phase and you start to approach the color belt ranks. They were so nice to you in the beginning. You finally made it. Well, now that you're able to pose a threat to them, they start to go a little bit harder with you. They will start to fight you harder, drop their weight more, give you more resistance, and guess what? They're better at dropping their weight than the white belts that used to smash you. If you stick with it, you'll learn to start escaping them as well. As you progress to higher ranks, you will find some training partners that fully understand the disadvantages you have and try to match you skill for skill only. But a lot of them will take any advantage they can get if you're pressing them hard, meaning we will continue to get smashed by larger opponents. I'd like to tell you that it gets easier, and once you reach a certain level, bigger people will stop trying to smash you. But you will always find someone that just can't check their ego at the door and needs to resort to using their size and strength against their opponent. Maybe in some ways that's a good thing. After all, someone attacking you in the street's not going to take it easy on you because you're smaller. If this happens every time you train, however, it starts to take a toll on your body.
Here is a clip of Marcelo Garcia versus Rico Rodriguez at the ADCC Openweight Championships. You can clearly see that Rodriguez is the larger fighter. Frustrated by not being able to control the match, Rodriguez slams Garcia by jumping backwards onto him. While this move was considered legal at the time, it does show an obvious disregard for the smaller fighter's safety. As a smaller person, you do need to be extra vigilant about the dangers posed by placing yourself in vulnerable positions. This match ended with Garcia submitting the larger Rodriguez with a heel hook. While the smaller opponent won, he did take more damage. In this clip of Bob Sapp fighting Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, the much larger Sapp picks up Nogueira and slams him on his head. Again, this is allowed in the rules, but is an obvious disregard for the smaller fighter's safety.
Hulk smash!
As the fight progresses, we can see Sapp using his size and strength advantage on the more skilled Nogueira, until Nogueira is able to end the match with an armbar. Once again, the smaller opponent wins while taking more damage.
As you can see, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can help you learn how to survive underneath someone that is much larger than you and eventually defeat them. But in no way is it an easy journey. The training is long, hard, and grueling, but it is real. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for over 25 years now. I've often been the one getting smashed and surviving against larger opponents. I'm not always the smaller one, but I definitely was regularly enough. I've been uncomfortable, hurt, and injured many times, but I wouldn't give any of that up. If you want to learn to defend yourself against a larger opponent, this is the process you need to go through. If you're not up to going through this process, and it's not for everybody, you need to get better at avoiding those situations where you may be attacked by a larger opponent. My choice is to do both. I love to do jiu-jitsu in a controlled environment, but would definitely do whatever I can to avoid having to use it in the street. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button below, like, share, and leave a comment. I'll see you all in the next video.